We now talk about 5 billion passengers per year, and air travel has become a major contributor to the world's economy with almost 4% of global GDP, an impact of $4 trillion. Yes.
Is it probable for Thailand to be regional aviation hub? ไทยจะเป็นศูนย์กลางการบินของเอเชียประโยคนี้เราได้ยินกันมานานแค่ไหนแล้วนะคะที่ผ่านมาเราลงทุนกับโครงการใหญ่มากมายภายใต้รัฐบาลหลายชุดหลายสมัยแม้โลกการบินจะฟื้นตัวหลังโควิดแต่ทำไมไทยยังไปไม่ถึงจุดนั้นวันนี้เราจะหาคำตอบจากมุมมองของ Airbus ว่าถ้าไทยอยากเป็นฮับจริงเราต้องแก้ปัญหาตรงจุดไหนก่อนกันแน่ตอนนี้ดิฉันมาอยู่ที่สำนักงานของ Airbus ที่กรุงเทพนะคะอยู่กับประธาน Airbus ประเทศไทยคุณ Bert Porteman So คุณ Bert what's the purpose of Airbus office in Bangkok
Here in our downtown office, we have mainly our Center of Excellence for Flight Operation Support and Services, which is a local for global activity, which means that from this office, we are supporting airlines globally, so all over the world. This office also hosts our supporting functions for all the employees in Thailand, with, of course, the HR teams, the finance, admin, IT, and so on. So this tool is our virtual procedure trainer, which is a professional tool that can be part of the training curriculum for Airbus pilots. So as you can see, it's a virtual reality cockpit immersion that allows the trainees to learn about the cockpit systems and also to practice normal and abnormal procedures. Lots of training can be done via this tool instead of doing it on an expensive flight simulator. You want to try?
Yes, please.
Engine mode selector.
Well, I think I need to be trained. People may think that aviation is all about airline, airport, but actually it covers many areas like jobs, logistics, emergency response, or even national competitiveness. So from your perspective, what should Thailand do with aerospace and aviation in order to focus for Thailand at this very juncture?
So actually, aviation and airspace as a whole, because you have commercial aviation, you also have defense, so military aircraft and helicopters, and also space. So all this is called aerospace, and is already quite important in Thailand, accounting for 7% of local GDP and creating 130,000 jobs, and definitely has the potential to grow further in the future. Growth drivers, I would say, for commercial aviation are, of course, tourism, because air travel is directly connected with tourism. But not only. We also talk about business travel. We talk about connecting friends and families domestically and internationally. And aerospace as a whole can also grow with aircraft maintenance centers, supply chain, meaning that we produce helicopter or aircraft parts directly in country, and also infrastructure. So you're right, airports, of course, but traffic management and also hangars for aircraft maintenance will be all growth drivers for aerospace in Thailand.
Talking about the global perspective, the number of passengers is rising after COVID-19. What should we really focus in order to make Thailand more competitive in terms of aviation and aerospace?
Yep. Indeed, air travel recovered very well the last few years to even above pre-COVID figures at most places, so also in this part of the world. We now talk about 5 billion passengers per year, and air travel has become a major contributor to the world's economy with almost 4% of global GDP. an impact of $4 trillion and creating almost 85 million jobs directly and indirectly. And so aviation is back, I would say, and the Airbus global market forecast is showing an annual growth of almost 4% in the next 2 decades, translating into a doubling of the world's aircraft fleet, and with a need of almost 40,000 new aircraft in the next 2 decades, of which half will be delivered in the larger Asia region.
How do you see the possibility of aviation, aerospace to help Thailand in terms of boosting economy, and in what particular aspect that Thailand should aim at improving, like talent base, infrastructure, or in what capacity?
So air travel has been growing actually last year, despite a dip in the number of tourists. Air travel has increased based on the growth factors I mentioned previously. Airbus believes really in the potential of Thailand's aerospace industry to grow further in the future. We have today more than 140 commercial aircraft flying across 5 different operators in Thailand. We have more than 70 helicopters, and we have 2 major satellite platforms for Earth observation. And beyond our commercial success, we also have a regional center for helicopter maintenance and also a local for global center of excellence for flight operations support and services, supporting airlines all over the world. So we are the only aircraft and helicopter manufacturer that have this kind of footprint. Looking at the growth for Thailand, of course, air travel will grow, will organically grow together with the global growth factors. But a very great opportunity for Thailand to grow further in aerospace are sustainable aviation fuels, or SAF.
แล้วทำไม SAF ถึงเป็นเทรนด์ที่น่าจับตาของโลกการบิน อุตสาหกรรมการบินปล่อยคาร์บอนราว 2.5% ของโลก ฟังดูไม่เยอะใช่ไหมคะ แต่จริงๆแล้วเครื่องบินยังทำให้เกิดเส้นสีขาวบนท้องฟ้าหรือเมฆหางเครื่องบินซึ่งกักเก็บความร้อนในชั้นบรรยากาศและยิ่งซ้ำเติมภาวะโลกร้อนทำให้องค์การการบินพลเรือนระหว่างประเทศหรือ ICAO เร่งผลักดันให้ภาคการบินปรับตัวมุ่งสู่เป้าหมาย Net Zero ภายในปี 2050 SAF จึงถูกมองว่าเป็นตัวเลือกสำคัญเพราะช่วยลดการปล่อยคาร์บอนได้สูงสุดราว 80% และยังใช้กับเครื่องบินที่มีอยู่ในปัจจุบันได้ทันที
And that's why Airbus, and the entire aviation industry, we focus a lot on growing the SAF production capacity worldwide. We see Thailand as having that high potential to be one of the leading SAF producing countries in the region to secure even sovereignty for aviation fuel supply and also have enough volume to even export to other nations in the future. So as an agriculture country, Thailand has a high availability of biomass in the form of agriculture waste. And now Airbus, together with our local partners, we're looking at converting that biomass into aviation fuel for airplanes and helicopters. And a co-benefit of doing this would be also to improve the air quality, the PM 2.5 situation in Thailand, because instead of burning the waste, we can collect and convert it into SAF, into aviation fuel. And not only for Thailand, we can use these technologies because we know that in other ASEAN countries, we have an air quality issue, and the same technologies we can use to convert waste into SAF and improving, the regional situation, which also has an impact on the air quality in Thailand. Last but not least, for Thailand, I also see an opportunity to grow the space industry. Thailand today is a regional leader in space technology, and together with our partners Thaicom and GISDA, we are working on growing this industry from a technology but also services perspective.
One of the main aim for Thailand is to become regional hub of aviation. How is that probable in your perspective? Because you've been in Thailand for about 6 years, so you must have seen Thailand from many angles.
Yes.
Is it probable for Thailand to be regional aviation hub?
We believe in that potential at Airbus, and in my opinion, it's only a matter of time before this potential will be unlocked. I think there's already lots of work done, but there's still lots of work to be done in the future. And I can give you one area for improvement, which is human capital. If you look at the growth ambitions that we have also in terms of aircraft maintenance, there's really a need for more well-trained mechanics and even more high-skilled aviation professionals in general. Today, the aviation industry is an international industry, a global industry that needs people with an international mindset, an international exposure, and very good English proficiency. And I think this pool of people exist in Thailand, and many of them work for Airbus today. But this pool has to grow bigger in order to provide enough aviation professionals for the growth ambitions that the industry has. We need more people who have seen what's happening in aviation outside Thailand for all the different aspects of aviation. So it could be engineering, it could be maintenance, it could be servicing, also for helicopters and space, and also a very good English proficiency. I think, for example, building an aircraft maintenance hangar can be done easily and quickly. However, growing a pool of aviation professionals to cater for the growth of the industry might take several years. So I think it's urgent that we start working all together on growing this pool of aviation professionals.
What kind of hub that Thailand should be aiming at?
MRO business is capital intensive, so it requires lots of investment. So I think that Thailand should focus on one or two key projects for MRO, like the ones we know in Utapao or at Suvarnabhumi Airport, and also needs a couple of strong local companies and partners to carry these projects initially. And I'm therefore very happy to see that Thai Airways and Bangkok Airways are taking the lead on one of these projects because they have strong shoulders, together with then creating a climate of confidence, meaning long-term visibility, stability, and also a clear business plan for creating enough confidence for international companies maybe to join in the future.
And to stay competitive as the nation, Thailand tend to compare aviation with Singapore. Is that the right benchmark for Thailand?
I think that comparison can be done with other countries more than Singapore, because Singapore has a very particular setup, and I would say, if I talk about also sustainability and SAF and MRO space and capacity, Thailand might have more potential than Singapore. But Thailand can look at other countries who might have very similar assets and potential like Thailand and take lessons from this to also create your own regional airspace hub. For example, that Vietnam has been investing a lot in education. That will now start paying off, in the coming years, because as I mentioned, these are long-term projects. MRO, there's a couple of big MRO projects in Indonesia. I think it's a matter of going and see how they have been doing that in Indonesia for MRO, and see how this can be applied, here locally in Thailand.
It seems the major bottleneck of Thailand to improve in aviation is all about workforce, capability of people. What if Thailand missed the train in the next few years? What will happen to the whole industry?
So I'm still very positive. Again, I think it's a potential to be unlocked, and it's never too late to start, but it's quite urgent to start, I would say, and work really on building that foundation for human capital.
Overall, how do you see the whole industry of aviation at this very juncture? Because in terms of geopolitics, many countries around the world are increasing their defense budget. How does that have an impact on aviation industry, especially on Airbus?
For decades, many nations, particularly in Europe, have been relying on US security guarantees. But this era has now ended. NATO allies are now increasing their defense spending for core defense up to 3.5%. And even going up to 5% if you also include security infrastructure. You also see a growing number of instabilities and conflicts around the world, pushing nations to high-intensity territorial defense, which also increased their defense spending. We have quite a a wide portfolio of drones for different missions, which could be surveillance, maritime surveillance, border control, and so on. And we have already drones in operation, of course, with our customers in order to fulfill the missions they have been built for. And this also includes humanitarian aid and disaster relief, for which a wide range of our helicopters and aircraft are used to manage disasters, which have become, unfortunately, more frequent and more intense, as we have seen with the flooding in Thailand, in the south of Thailand last year.
Can you tell me about the situation of the competition in this industry? Because, of course, it's very large industry, but not many players. So how's the situation going in terms of competition?
Today, we are the leading airspace company in the world, and we will be challenged by competitors in the future even more. And I believe that China will be one of the major aviation players in the future. But actually, we welcome competition because competition keeps us sharp, keeps us focused on what we have to do. And we became the leading airspace company in the world for a reason, because we have been developing the best airplanes, helicopters, and space systems, thanks to our pioneering spirit, thanks to our innovation mindset. We're also very good at supporting local aviation ecosystems, at cooperation with local partners. And I believe that if we continue doing exactly what we are good at, that we can remain successful in the future.
In addition to improving workforce, what else should Thailand do more? Infrastructure, logistics, the whole airline system network. What's your take?
Well, I have seen already lots of projects and plans being launched. There is, for example, an airport master plan. There will be an MRO master plan. In my opinion, all this is making good progress. Thailand has several international airports, so it's not only Suvarnabhumi. There is an airport master plan to increase capacity on the different airports, to even create a new airport in the south of Thailand, in order to cater for the growing number of passengers in the future. In terms of I think issues that we can address on top of human capital development, it's really to avoid too much fragmentation into small projects. If you want to be a player on a regional level or on a global level, that you focus on a couple of big projects, that you join forces between the different stakeholders in the country, join investment as well, and move forward in that way.
Of course, we are having new government. Do you see any quick win project for Thailand in the near future, or we shouldn't be too concerned with quick win, but lay down groundwork for long-term plans?
So aviation airspace is a long-term industry that requires a long-term focus, sometimes lots of investment, as I mentioned. So I would suggest that the industry here in Thailand focuses on the long term rather than looking at quick wins, because that's how the aviation industry works, with very long cycles. So preparing the future will require this kind of mindset.
In long-term perspective, are you thinking about like policy, consistency, or on what particular aspect that Thailand should try to improve?
So policies-wise, I can make a link with sustainability, sustainable aviation fuel. Of course, it's not enough to produce your sustainable aviation fuel. You also need to have policies or mandates for your end users, your airlines, to use this sustainable aviation fuel. And there is still some work to be done on this, but not only in Thailand. Actually, in many places in the world, this is still work in progress. And Airbus, actually, we act as a catalyst to try to bring together the major stakeholders on supply, demand, and also regulator side in order to come to the good policies and mandates for increasing the production of SAF in the country, and also to get a reasonable price of sustainable aviation fuel at the pump for our customers.
What do you like to have as one final message to people who are interested in aviation and aerospace in Thailand and policy makers?
I work now in this industry for 25 years. Of course, there has been a big ramp up. There has been a big increase of air travel across the world, despite the several crises that we had as an aviation industry. But I think the industry has shown mainly lots of resilience. In my opinion, has always been an industry of passionate people. And I think if you work as an engineer or any other aviation professional for a company like Airbus, you are directly in contact with airplanes, with helicopters, with space systems, which for many young people, I think, is a dream. And this is a dream that we offer here now in Thailand and more, because we still have the ambition to grow in Thailand. And I think having that international mindset, international exposure, so meaning studying abroad, can help to give you more baggage, more luggage actually, and be better prepared to enter into the industry here in Thailand afterwards. Also, it will help with English proficiency. So I would say passion, patience, international exposure and mindset are the key ingredients to have a good career in aviation.
อย่างที่คุณเบิร์ตบอกนะคะจำนวนของโครงการยักษ์ใหญ่ไม่ได้รับประกันความสำเร็จและ Quick Wins ก็ใช้ไม่ได้กับการพัฒนาอุตสาหกรรมนี้หากย้อนมองเส้นทางของไทยตั้งแต่สนามบินสุวรรณภูมิโครงการอู่ตะเภา EEC จนถึงเป้าหมายฮับการบินของภูมิภาคเรามีแผนพัฒนามากมายที่ถูกส่งต่อผ่านหลายรัฐบาลแต่ก็ยังไปไม่ถึงปลายทางเพราะว่าไทยยังติดอยู่ในกับดักเชิงโครงสร้างตั้งแต่ขั้นตอนที่ซับซ้อนหน่วยงานที่ทำงานแยกส่วนกันปัญหาสัญญาการร่วมลงทุนระหว่างรัฐกับเอกชนที่ขาดความยืดหยุ่นไปจนถึงความเชื่อมั่นที่ผันผวนตามวาระทางการเมืองและความโปร่งใสของทั้งองคาพยพที่กำลังถูกตั้งคำถามปัญหาเหล่านี้อาจจะเป็นเพียงยอดของภูเขาน้ำแข็งเท่านั้นถ้าไทยยังไม่สามารถแก้โจทย์ได้ตรงจุดโอกาสครั้งนี้ก็อาจจะตกเป็นของคู่แข่งที่เร็วกว่าต่อเนื่องกว่าและมองอนาคตได้ชัดเจนกว่าเราค่ะ